Well, they don't get much bigger than this. It's a finals match and it's a local derby and two of the oldest and keenest rivals in the country. Well, we'll take a check on the team news. Marconi have the luxury of an unchanged side after the Korean import Pan Kyun Kim and the midfielder Darren McDonald have both recovered sufficiently from the flu. Strikers Sean Babic and Francis Awaratifi will both be full of confidence after getting back on the score sheet last week, while it has been more of the same for the midfielders Brad Maloney and Vlado Zoric, who are chasing the honour of being the team's top scorer this season. But if Marconi's resurgence can be pinpointed to one thing, it has been the form of a defence marshalled superbly by Kim, who recently re-signed for another 3 years. Well, for Sydney United, the Pumas welcome back Socceroo goalkeeper Zeljko Kalac and skipper Paul Bilokapic as they go chasing their first ever Ericsson Cup title. However, a hamstring injury has sidelined regular sweeper Richie Plesher, with the Scottish import Stuart Munro tipped to take his place. The midfield may lack some craft, but in Jacob Burns and Peter Bennett, the Pumas have two of the hardest workers in the league. Up front, the recent scoring form of 18-year-old Sterjovski has helped take some of the burden off the Socceroo striker Abbas Saad. And it's going to be, in fact, the Pumas who get this game underway. There is the whistle from the referee. Sydney United in their familiar red strip, Marconi in their normal colours of sky blue. And if past experience is anything to go by, this game will be very, very fiery indeed in the opening period. Throw there to Marconi early in the game. Casserly will take it. Babic goes forward, and there's heavy traffic there. It's bouncing around everywhere. Away by Kupresak. McDonald heads it back into the danger zone and eventually hacked up the line by Barrett. It's Kim on the ball for Marconi. Bennett wants to close him down. McDonald with a bit of room. Nice ball inside by Renaud. Still going, McDonald, pass two. Still going, and that is a tackle on the edge of the box, which is late according to the referee. Joe Vrkic feels he got the ball first. That will be an interesting replay, Branko Culina. Well, a very promising position, this free kick for the Stallions. Vlado, Zoric, Brad Maloney and Luke Casserly all wanting a lick at it. 4 in the wall for Sydney United. And it comes from Casserly, great effort, and Zeljko Kalac made a textbook save there, the big goalkeeper. He had his wall positioned superbly, perfectly, and he needed to have it well worked as well. This is a good effort from Casserly. Sterjovski now at the other end of the park for Sydney United. Shapes for the cross, back onto the left peg. And who's arriving late? It was, in fact, Abbas, was it, who got the header on. Ante Covic with some early work to do, so some bright passages of play already. We're only a couple of minutes into the match. Sterjovski down the right side, lovely cross. Nice timing in the jump there as well from Saad, but the keeper watching it all the way. Casserly again into the middle, flicked on by Zoric, who's there late. Zoric again, save from Kalac, and it hasn't been cleared. Renaud through the... Well, how did that stay out? Unbelievable. And it was Brendan Renaud who seemed to be destined to score there. And again, Sydney United living dangerously from these corners. They didn't clear it the first time, they didn't clear it the second. Kalac had to make a point-blank save. And Marconi have another corner. In it comes again. Flicked on slightly by Babic, taking it away, in fact, from the head of Mark Babic. And finally, Sydney United can try and get it out of their own half. But there is a free kick from Abbas Saad. In a little strongly on his opposite number, Brad Maloney. So Sydney United with some more work to do in defence. Great start this for Marconi. They are the team who has to take the game to their opponents. They have the home advantage. Of course, the second leg of this particular tie will be played at Parramatta Stadium next Sunday. Zoric whipping it in, headed out by Munro. All the possession, though, with the Stallions. Here's Longo. Renaud has come inside. Sterjovski into the feet of Awaratifi, but that's a good interception by Kupresak. Bilokapic, though, has given it away. McDonald with the shot. And Kalac, I'm sure, will try and settle things down somewhat here, as we see a replay of that earlier chance. Wasn't cleared by Sydney United. Lovely flick on at the near post. I think it was Zoric. Here he is with a shot. Great save, Kalac. Renaud in there again. Plenty of red shirts in the way. The goalkeeper must have seen that late. Kupresak again going through the middle. That was an important touch from Casserly, and here comes the Korean Kim. Nothing in front of him. Babic comes inside. Still going, Sean Babic. Look at the speed of this man. Explosive burst from Sean Babic. He's into the area and he tries the shot himself. Two were in the middle, but you can't blame him for trying, Sean Babic. A lovely run. Electric pace from Sean Babic. He went past the Sydney United defence as if they weren't there. Yeah, this is where the strength of Marconi lies, with Sean Babic and Francis Awaratifi and their enormous pace. And that's where they're dangerous. That's where they're going to create problems for Sydney United. But just unfortunate for Sean Babic after such a terrific run that his shot was just a touch weak. When a player's got as much pace as Sean Babic, he always makes the defenders hesitant. They can't help it, really. They know that the slightest mistake or the slightest wrong touch, or they let the ball run away from them, and this man is going to be in it like a flash. And Kupresak, who's been around for a long, long time, was put under pressure there by Babic. And Sydney United have given away the corner. Casserly. Deep to McDonald. They want to vary the point of the cross here, Marconi. And it comes from McDonald. Awaratifi jumping against Vrkic. And Kalac is out of position. And Marconi take the lead. Goal number 100 for Francis Awaratifi. What a moment for him. The birthday boy celebrates in the finest possible fashion. Awaratifi jumping superbly in front of Vrkic, and Kalac was all at sea. Yeah, just a variation of the cross coming on a deeper angle. Got Sydney United all lost at sea. Zeljko Kalac came, stopped, and the rest is history. So a little bit of tension creeping into the match. Over the top. Sean Babic will get there. Kalac's out of position. It'll go past the post. Well, Zeljko Kalac can afford to smile there because it was the wrong side of the post. Look at this audacity from Sean Babic. And all of a sudden, big Zeljko Kalac found himself in a sprint for the ball. Couldn't keep it in. Babic, good switch. Brendan Renaud wants to take on Robbie Hooker, who slides in and has done enough, Robbie Hooker, but that will be a Marconi corner. Brendan Renaud has been a key contributor to Marconi over the past month or so. Has problems with referees and cautions, but he certainly seems to have settled down and is now playing a very important role in this tactical formation of Zoric. Casserly's corner. Edge of the box, in space is Maloney. Difficult bounce. Babic with the acrobatics. Zoric on the turn, still going. Zoric chips it back and taken away from Awaratifi by the slightest of touches. Hasn't been cleared. Mark Babic, the deflection off the crossbar and away by Hooker. Sydney United somehow escape, and won't they be relieved? Well, again, the corners are causing Sydney United all sorts of problems. And they're lucky not to be another goal down there, the Pumas. This is what occurred after that corner wasn't cleared. Zoric with a shot on the turn. He committed 2 or 3 players, including the goalkeeper. Lovely skill from Zoric. Babic, I think it must have been, he took the slightest of touches took it away from the Waratifi. And in it came again, as there is an incident on the halfway. We see it off the crossbar, and McDonald is off. Darren McDonald has been sent off by the referee. He's already been cautioned. Bilokapic wants to continue it. The Sydney United players are getting in there. Well, what a turning point that could be. Darren McDonald, who was cautioned a few moments ago, sliding in on a tackle on the halfway line. There he is, bringing down Bilokapic. And Darren McDonald has been sent off. Well, Matthew Breeze ends a very eventful first half indeed. Barrett. Bilokapic. Culina with space to his left. Goes the other way to the wide right player, who's Saad. Saad has controlled it well. Gets some support. In it comes from Bennett. Maloney was there first. Bilokapic. Hooker. Will try his luck here. No, he won't. He tries to shovel it off. They're not taking responsibility here, the Sydney United players. In the end, Bennett does, and Covic again can't hold the shot, and he's given away the corner. Better stuff from Peter Bennett. They were queuing up there. They all wanted to hand the responsibility onto someone else, and Peter Bennett in the end forced an error out of the goalkeeper. Hooker. Saad trying to make things happen for the Pumas. Hooker goes for the shot himself, and Covic has spilled it. Babic will get there at the second attempt. The keeper recovers it back. Ante Covic. Maybe there was some movement in the air. Great effort this from Robbie Hooker. And Ante Covic again with a case of the dropsies, really. Redeems himself as Mitchell feels he was fouled by Babic. There's a 100% player if ever you've seen one, Mike Smith. So a good change that as well. Well timed from Zoric. Strong in the air as well. Perhaps there'll be an aerial bombardment from Sydney United in these dying stages. In it comes from Culina. Near post, Smith with a header away. Hooker. Munro. Barrett will be closed down quickly by a Waratifi. Hooker, once again. Saad. Saad goes himself. Great shot. What a save from Covic. That was as close as Sydney United have come to a goal. Culina now chips it in. Burns. Can't find a way past Babic, and it will be with Mike Smith now. Renaud. Up the line is Van Cuylenberg. Van Cuylenberg. To Care. This will suit Marconi. Sydney United need the ball back. We're about to go into stoppages. Maloney will probably try and run it towards the corner. Maloney still going. Burns in front of him, and Maloney feels he was checked. The referee not interested. Sydney United have to get it out of their own half, and they have to do it quickly. We're now into stoppages at the end of the match. Time fast running out for the Pumas. Sterjovski. Saad. The deflection. Away by Renaud. Mitchell, having drifted wide to the left. David Mitchell comes inside. Sterjovski. Down goes a Waratifi, using his body well. Munro. Hooker has to get it in the box. Bang it in the mixer, Robbie Hooker looking for Mitchell. The keeper's dropped it. Away by Keun. For safety. 5 minutes now added on by the referee, who is checking his watch. And that's it. That's the ball game. Marconi have held on for a very courageous victory indeed. So the Stallions will take the slenderest of advantages into the return leg of this elimination final next week at Parramatta Stadium. They've done the job asked of them by their coach, Zoran Madic, this evening. It's Marconi Fairfield 1, Sydney United 0.
Yes, that tie very much alive when the second leg is played at the Parramatta Stadium next weekend. Well, these are heady days for Illawarra soccer. Figures released by Soccer Australia reveal that the Wollongong Wolves are the best supported club in New South Wales this season. To illustrate the point, there was a 10,000+ crowd at Brandon Park last night when Adelaide City came to town for the Elimination Final first leg. Wollongong are in the red. Our commentator is Paul Williams.